Hi guys, John here, and I'm here to give my quick review of the new Peter Jackson film, The Lovely Bones. Now, The Lovely Bones, of course, if you've seen the trailer, is about this young girl who gets murdered, and it's her perspective from her version of heaven as she looks down and looks over her family. She kind of narrates the story. Where this film really works is when it is focused on the family after the daughter dies and the different ways the family grieves and the way they try to cope and deal with the loss of a daughter. And when the film is doing that, it actually works very, very well. In those scenes where Mark Wahlberg is the grieving dad, that's when he's at his best. When the mom, a little bit of a spoiler here, the mom runs away and stuff like that because that's how she's dealing with it. The younger sister deals with it a certain way. The family deals with it a certain way. And when the film is about a grieving family over the loss of a murdered daughter, that is when the film is at its most powerful. However, having said that, the film does not come across as powerful as it could. And one of the main reasons it doesn't is because I think the story really requires us, for us to understand the murdered girl's anger and the real pain of the family, and to really get a sense of the monster that the neighbor is, the guy who kills the girl. Something very key was left out. Now, sometimes there are things in movies that are shown that don't need to be shown. Sometimes it's best to leave certain things to the imagination. But in the movie The Lovely Bones, they don't actually show us Stanley Tucci, who played this character brilliantly, by the way, totally deserved to be nominated for the Golden Globe, and I expect he'll be nominated for an Academy Award as well for his role in this film. But for us to really get the monster, and for us to feel the monster that Stanley Tucci is, I believe that we as the audience needed to see the murder of the little girl. Now, I know that sounds weird to say, and like I said, there are some things in some movies where it's best not to show, and it's best to leave certain things to the imagination. But I believe that there is a difference between knowledge and experience. We have the knowledge watching The Lovely Bones of what it is Stanley Tucci did to that girl, but we didn't experience it. And I found that as a viewer, because I didn't experience it, I never got that sense of the monster that he was. In the movie, because I never experienced what he did to the little girl, he just came across to me as really creepy instead of this horrific, terrible monster. And I'm not saying it had to be too graphic. I'm not saying they had to be explicit, but I think they did need to show us something, give us something as the audience to experience it, no matter how uncomfortable it would have been, so we could get a better sense of the girl's anger, the family's pain, and the monster that Stanley Tucci really was. And because of that, I believe it lacks some stuff. The film is also a little bit too long. It lacks pace. There are some extra characters in it that don't need to be there. The grandmother, played by Susan Sarandon, could have taken her out of the film entirely, and the film would have worked just fine. That's not a knock on Susan Sarandon's performance. It's just the way it is. Anyway, overall, The Lovely Bones is a solid movie, but certainly not a good to great movie, unfortunately, that we were kind of hoping the next Peter Jackson film would have been. Overall, I give The Lovely Bones a 6 out of 10. My name's John Campea.